I was born and brought up in an Ayurvedic family. In spite of being born and brought up in a 100% Ayurvedic family, I never really believed in the power and immense potential of Ayurveda until I was faced with a disease called rheumatic fever. After a year of being bedridden, unable to move my body, I healed completely with Ayurvedic treatment. And this brought my faith back in Ayurveda, and I became the biggest advocate and ambassador for Ayurveda in its power to heal. Welcome to the very first episode of Doctor Rekha Ayurveda Podcast. I'm Doctor Rekha Radhamony, a fourth-generation Ayurvedic doctor, here to guide you through the incredible world of Ayurveda, where healing begins from within. My mission is simple: to help people understand real, authentic Ayurveda beyond modern misconceptions. Now you may be wondering why this podcast. The reason why I started this podcast is that there are many questions that are revolving around various topics these days. The internet has a plethora of information with content overload. It is very much difficult for people to get authentic and genuine information. With my podcast, I want to voice the truth and give out the right information to people who are seeking for it. I have always been an advocate of real Ayurveda and not the commercialized, fancy, frilled up, modern Ayurveda. So with my podcast, you will be able to hear about things I am truly passionate about, like health, wellness, yoga, spirituality, and many more interesting topics. If you want to know the reason why I am creating these podcasts, you should know a little bit about my social media. I create content over platforms like YouTube and Instagram, where I showcase authentic information that can be taken away by my viewers. I want to create value for people who are here to learn something new. What is Ayurveda? To put it in the most simplest words, Ayurveda is the science of life. It focuses on balance, natural healing, and individualized care of health. Even though Ayurveda is a 5,000-year-old ancient science, it still stays relevant, even in the modern times, and is more about prevention, balance, and focuses on root cause rather than symptoms. So talking about me, I come from a very small town in Kerala called Trivandrum. After the completion of 12th standard, for the next 6.5 years, I was in a remote village in Kerala for my BMS. During that time, I had no clue as to how the outside world functioned and what are the developments that are happening around the world. By remote, I literally mean it was a remote village with no access to even Wi-Fi. The only thing that was available was mobile data to keep us updated with things. Every week, me and a couple of my friends, we would go for having lunch. That was on a Sunday to the town. And there was a particular restaurant from where we would have biryani. After having the biryani, we would come back to the hostel. Every week, once the TV gets switched on, and that's on a Sunday evening for a movie. So we have a movie night on a Sunday night. So this is how I spent most of my weekends in my hostel. So I was literally cut off from how everything worked outside. But after my college, when I decided to move to Dubai, that's when I realized the rest of the world practices Ayurveda in a totally different way. I reached Dubai and I started searching for a job. And I started working there. But when I came to Dubai and started reading a few books on Ayurveda written by Western authors, I realized there's a whole world of modern Ayurveda out there which has no relation to whatever I have studied or experienced or heard of, because I'm coming from a family of Ayurvedic doctors and Ayurveda is not the same as that is preached outside India. And in Dubai, initially, there were times when I meet people and when they ask me to introduce myself and I tell them I'm an Ayurvedic doctor, they would be asking these questions. What doctor? Ayurvedic doctor? Are you Vedic doctor? What is that? Is that some form of medicine? Then I would answer them, it is Indian medicine, Indian herbal medicine, Indian plant-based medicine. Then I realized we need to speak more about Ayurveda and spread awareness about the same. all they knew are a few terms like turmeric latte, ashwagandha, shilajit, and so on. So whatever people understand about Ayurveda is what they have heard from conversations, read in a few books here and there. There is no proper information on real Ayurveda, which is the real reason why I started my social media, as I wanted to spread real Ayurvedic knowledge and what I know of Ayurveda, the true authentic Ayurveda, which is so different from the commercial Ayurveda that we see these days. So this podcast is also about that part of my journey to make real Ayurveda accessible to a lot more people out there. Today, I have patients messaging me saying how my posts and stories and videos have helped them bring down their condition, improve their health, and made a difference in their lives. And of course, podcast is a great medium people are listening to these days. So I thought, why not explore that? And that's why I'm here. So coming to how my podcast is going to be. For my podcast, I want it to be like the best of both worlds, where I want to bring in guests who would add value to my listeners, because if they can bring some change in people's lives, it would be great. I would also want to bring normal people coming from different walks of life, as every human being has some story to say, a healing journey they have taken in life, or something they want to talk about. And it would be great for me to know all about it and understand different perspectives on things in life. Everyone would have a story to tell and a voice that they want to reach to people. With my podcast, I would want to give them a platform to explore that part of them. In a world where people are more interested in the lives of celebrities, I thought, why not share the story of a common man? Even they would have something amazing to talk about, and we could all learn so much from that. We can all be motivated and inspired by these stories. If you ask me why you should be listening to my podcast, here is my answer. Through social media, every content I create, I want to give out value, something that they can take away. With the same intention, I've started this podcast hoping to touch lives, inspire, and motivate you. In our next episode, we will dive deep into the most fundamental concept in Ayurveda, the Agni or gut health. Don't forget to tune in. If you would like to know more about real Ayurveda, please follow and share the podcast. And if you have any questions, you can send me a DM on Instagram at Doctor Rekha, DOCTORREKJ, because I am active every day there and I post daily on Instagram. Or if you want to book a consultation, you can reach out to me at rekha@drrekha.com. I also write blogs on my website, drrekha.com, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dr. Rekha. If you would like to further your knowledge on Ayurveda, you can enroll for my courses on www.drrekha.com. Thank you for listening. Love and light, Dr. Rekha.